Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from Thessaloniki. I'm very glad that we'll be closing the first day of our conference with a discussion with the Minister for Investments, Mr. Adonis Georgiadis. Welcome to our company. Thanks for the excellent cooperation, Mr. Bakatselos, that we have with the American-Hellenic Chamber of Commerce all this time that I have the mandate, but also for our personal friendship. I also thank you for your support, and I want you to consider us your ally, whatever has to do with investments, and especially with investments coming from the USA. For our discussion today, I have prepared, I have a slight problem of sound return, the headset, in two fields. Generally speaking, on investment, and more specifically on the bill for the new investment law. So let me start by a question raised quite often to me as well, and this is the following. Of course, I'm always raise this question in relation to the Americans, but I address the question to you in generic. What are the sectors attracting new investments in our country, Mr. Minister? Well, first of all,
with regard to the classification of Greece compared to the other European countries when it comes to taxation. I have to confess that this is data that I'm going to examine very carefully as Minister of Development. I'm not the competent person on taxation per se, but of course I'm very interested since taxation is a lever for growth. Since you talked about the American investments, allow me to say that during the 2.5 years that I am leading the Ministry of Development and Investments, following the mandate of the Prime Minister, I believe that we have made important steps in order to attract foreign direct investments from the United States, many of which in collaboration with the American-Hellenic Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to acknowledge your contribution to this success. Now, Greece, during the last 2.5 years, has managed to enrich the investments as well as the interest of foreign investors, but also of local investors. You have probably realized that in the forecasts made by the European Commission that have been revised, there is special reference to the fact that the growth in Greece is due to the increase of investments. And this is very satisfying for all of us, for the Greek people, and for me personally, since I am competent for these investments. It is the very first time that in a report by the European Commission there is clear reference to that. Now, the sectors. Tourism, obviously. Real estate is connected to tourism, but not always to a great extent. The high tech, and this is the greatest surprise of the last 2.5 years, high tech has constituted the very positive pole of attraction of investments. But what is even more important is that it continues to attract investments, and we will soon have very good news about further investments in this sector. Logistics, it seems that they constitute a part in which Greece has a major comparative advantage, and given the infrastructure developed by the government and by the minister, Mr. Karamanlis, this advantage will become even greater.
Cultural production is also a major field attracting investments in Greece. But lately, defense industry, with a big investment, especially in the shipyards, also attracts, and we'll have even better news to share in due course. I warmly thank you. Now, Mr. Minister, regarding the structural problems pestering the investment initiatives in Greece, such as the great delays in justice, in license issuance, and so forth, is there any substantial progress? Just a moment. As far as licenses are concerned, which is purely a bureaucratic problem, there's huge progress. When we came to power, wind park needed at least 7 years for the permits. Now one can get that permit within 1 year. The first law that was adopted with my dear friend and cooperator Nikos Papathanasis was included great reduction of red tape. The laws we adopted for streamlining the licensing process, many things, the digitization of the state by Mr. Piarakakis and the two co-responsible ministries has brought about greater speed. So we're moving ahead quickly. Now, as far as justice is concerned, of course, it is not my immediate competence, but again, I have a co-responsibility. Excellent job has been done there as well. We have presented in cooperation with the Global Heart, World Bank, where by 2024 the whole spectrum, the whole environment of justice in Greece will be changed with specific milestones and deliverables and close monitoring of those reforms with the digitization of justice, with having to do with arbitration, with the creation of special courts for business affairs and so forth. So yes, Greece is still lingering behind. There's huge problem there, but with the plan already decided upon and funds already earmarked through the RRF, you will see an impressive change over the next years. In some countries abroad, each region has specialized organization institutions for attracting investment. Suppose you know it. In the USA, it is Select USA, for instance, such an organization where such a space was established. And in June each year, all the financial consultants of all the USA states and counties gather so as to attract investments. And there, any Western prospect investor can find answers to the questions concerning his queries. Do you believe that such a practice could be also adopted in Greece? Well, listen, of course, Greece has not the size of the USA to need such a great dispersion. But let me tell you and present you how we work. Each region does have a party division dealing with investments. Some with great success, such as Central Macedonia, for instance, they do it with great success. Others, not that much. But institutionally speaking, there is such an institution. Now, with regard to the state and central government, central administration, we have two mechanisms. We've got Enterprise Greece, that's got the extrovert character, and in a very well-structured program, we have selected all embassies in attracting investment. There was no culture in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for that. On the other hand, we've got the Ministry of Investments and Development, where once an investment appears, we take great care to lead him through the bureaucracy. And actually, this bill will be tabled this week. And there will be a new institution established under the Ministry of Development. Therefore, a foreign investor will come and say, I want this investment. Your plan, serious plan, will be approved. And from then on, you won't have to do anything. We will be doing everything for you. Congratulations. Time is money, and you must have results. Today, this year, Greece has an important development. The Greek people have understood how well we did with the fact that the government can offer additional money due to the increase of energy cost. This is our own success, but also a product of very hard toil. Congratulations on your performances. Now let us come to the draft bill. What is new introduced by the new bill in comparison to what was valid to date? This law was not created like that. I believe that our government, and I'm very proud for that, has opened in a very professional way that would mostly be apt a characteristic of a well-operating company and not a state. First of all, we established a committee headed by Mr. Pisaridis, the best, the famous experts of Greece. They mapped the strong and difficult points of Greek economy and proposed specific development. Now, with regard to the recovery plan, they were designed on these thematic subjects proposed by Pisaridis committee, which lead to a concise and comprehensive plan for the re-engineering of the Greek economy. And now the development law on the very same footsteps. It's for the first time that all financial instruments, that is RRF, investment law, and development law are not fragmented, they are interlinked. This is self-evident, but has never happened to date in Greece. So the new development plan set on the real axis of the recovery fund and the new NSRF operates there, and for the first time introduces thematic units: digital economy, environment, energy, R&D, and technology, and the whole financement will be guided to there. So we will not merely have investment in Greece at large, but a specific productive model that will make Greece not merely a tourist country. I don't underestimate tourism, but we cannot solely be based on tourism and nothing else. Let me raise a question with vis-à-vis taxation, since we are in a tax forum, and let us interlink that with the investment law. Would you like to enumerate or comment taxation incentives of this bill, especially those putting the emphasis on the direct foreign investment and the measures for attracting them? Well, obviously, the new bill introduces specific incentives for R&D companies and great tax incentives with write-offs and super write-offs. We've got specific tax exemptions even for high investments on the specific themes that I mentioned beforehand, so as to bring about the change of the productive paradigm. And most importantly, it accelerates processes so much because the great deficiencies in the past did include tax incentives, but unless one was approved and paid that incentives, the day of judgment would arrive. Now we go to a model of very quick approvals through digital economy. One would be able to monitor one's own from one's own mobile phone the stage of the folder. We will have private auditing houses to accelerate the processes and gain increased tax incentives. I would say that the presentation we followed before that is very close to what we plan to do, and I'm glad because we're at the right track according to the indications and guidelines given by the experts. Thank you, Mr. Minister. A last question having to do with the good image of Greece, the brand name of Greece, and the promotion of plans. In the past, it has been seen, has been registered a very lacking information. How do you deal with that with the new bill, especially at this conjuncture that we want to invite investments and we do not want multifaceted information? At the same time, we want to have a very effective promotion of Greece. First of all, the new bill, the new law proposed is far simpler because the problems in informing the investors lied precisely that the law was too complex. Now we make it very simple. It will be made all digital. Any investor will be able, by entering our site, will be able to easily follow the next steps. There will be an application as moving us from one step to the other. This is how it will operate. They will not be tired at all. I'm very glad for the custom-made law, custom-made for the client, the investor that is not in in the measures custom-made for the state, this was the PAC in the past. Now he will not find a country that would pester him, but he will be able to make his vision a reality under, of course, the laws, the Greek and the European Union laws, and of course, respecting the environment. When there is a comprehensive plan and there's political will and good work, as you are famous of that, then it is certain it will be successful. I believe so. I'm certain for your success, and I wish you well. I know that you know very well that when I am to do something, I do it as quickly as possible because time is money, and this I respect very much. Thank you for the invitation. Yes, it's true. I know you personally. I can write a book about you. Thank you. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, we finished with the first day of our conference. We warmly thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning. Have a nice afternoon.